The Knicks are now a championship team. They just went all in for Karl-Anthony Towns from the Wolves, and there's just so much to talk about here. The Timberwolves sent the New York Knicks Karl-Anthony Towns. In return, received Julius Randle, Keita Bates-Diop, Dante DiVincenzo, and the Pistons 2025 protected first-round pick. Who do you think won this deal? I have my unbiased opinion, and we're gonna get into that later. Jalen Brunson's team is now complete. After losing Isaiah Hartenstein in free agency, the Knicks were struggling at their front court, and I believe Karl-Anthony Towns was a great solution, sliding him into the starting center position. This is the Knicks championship rotation: Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns. They've got depth as well: Cameron Payne off the bench, Miles McBride, Precious Achiuwa, Jericho Sims, Mitchell Robinson. The Knicks are now a serious threat to dethrone Boston. But I have a lot to talk about, focusing on Minnesota. Why did the Timberwolves trade Karl-Anthony Towns, their prized big men? Cat and Rudy Gobert were the Twin Towers. That is what made the Timberwolves special. I would even say it was because of Karl-Anthony Towns that the Wolves made it to the conference finals. It was Towns that guarded Kevin Durant. It was Towns that guarded Nikola Jokic. After a great postseason, why did the Wolves make this splash right before training camp started? And I'm here to tell you right now that there's a secret truth why the Wolves had to do this. It wasn't because they wanted to, it's because they had to. In the next 4 years, Cat was about to be getting paid $220 million. This is a max contract player. And over the past decade, Cat has been the Wolves' franchise player. The Wolves were building around Cat. To be honest with you, the Wolves have had an unsuccessful past decade. They made a couple of playoff runs, but not much. But ever since drafting Anthony Edwards with the first overall pick, the Wolves have found their new star player. And that's obvious. Anthony has become the face of the franchise, and Cat has slowly slipped down and had to give the reins to Edwards. But we're just scratching the surface here. There is more to the fact that the Wolves had to trade Cat. John of The Athletic says, as the Timberwolves analyzed their cap situation and looked at the landscape across the league, it was getting harder and harder for the Wolves to see a scenario where they could keep this team intact beyond this season. The team that he's talking about is the trio of Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, and Cat, and it gets deeper financially. He says one of the path forwards for keeping everyone together was to win the championship and cash in on the enormous playoff revenue that comes with it. The Wolves will enter the season hoping to make it that far, but playing in a deep Western Conference makes it a treacherous path. The only way the Wolves could have kept Cat is if guaranteed they made another deep playoff run and made NBA playoff revenue to pay for the heavy salaries that they have on their contract. But the Wolves decided to play a smart move, not risking it, because what if they don't make a deep playoff run and they have Anthony Edwards, Gobert, and Cat on a salary max deal, and they can't afford him with the new CBA rules? So the Wolves decided to move forward with the mindset of flexibility. They don't want to risk getting caught in a situation where they're over the second apron and they can't do anything about it. The new CBA rules makes it very difficult for NBA teams that are expensive now. There's just so many penalties that can happen if you don't spend your money wisely. That's why the Atlanta Hawks had to trade John Collins last year, because they were going to be over the tax bracket. The Hawks also had to trade away DeJounte Murray as well this season to make sure that they're safe as well financially. The Dallas Mavericks were also stuck in that situation. That's why they traded away Tim Hardaway Jr. and a bunch of second-round picks to make sure that Luka and Kyrie could stay together. The Clippers were over the apron by a bunch. That's why they had to let Paul George join the 76ers. And even LeBron James had to offer to take a pay cut so the Lakers can sign other players to build for their championship roster. The Timberwolves weren't in the situation of they had to trade Cat right away. But next summer, if they didn't have a successful playoff run, they would have been forced to do it anyways. So Easy Buckets fans, does that make a little sense? That is one reason why the Wolves had to trade Cat. It was because they were about to get stuck financially. But another reason why the Wolves had to trade Cat was because they wanted to go all in on Naz Reid. We thank SeatGeek for sponsoring Easy Buckets. The NBA season is just around the corner, and NBA tickets are now available. You have to get your cheap tickets on SeatGeek today. What's special about SeatGeek is not only do they sell NBA tickets, they sell tickets to concerts, any other sports games, any event. You have to get your cheap tickets on SeatGeek today. And we've partnered with SeatGeek, giving Easy Buckets fans a discount special promo code. Use my code EasyBuckets on SeatGeek and you will get $20 off your first purchase. Download the app, go on the website, get your cheap tickets, put my code on checkout, and your cheap tickets just got even cheaper. Simply to understand why the Timberwolves made this move, Karl-Anthony Towns was due $220 million over the next 4 years, more than they could afford. They offload Cat's contract and go all in on Naz Reid, while acquiring Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo in the process. Naz Reid just won the 6th Man of the Year award, and he's becoming a future star in this league, and the Wolves see his potential. Naz Reid is going to be the 6th man for the Wolves again this season. He's going to be asked to do the same production as he did last year, but what's interesting to note about Naz Reid is next summer in 2025, he's going to become a free agent. The Wolves are gonna make sure they have money to re-sign Naz so he sticks around for the foreseeable future. So the Wolves aren't looking at a future of Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert. They're looking at a future of Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, and Jaden McDaniels. This is their future big three going forward. I wouldn't even be surprised if Rudy Gobert gets on the chopping block soon. In my personal unbiased opinion, I do believe that this trade was excellent for the Timberwolves, for their future, not for a championship team this season. They're not going to win the championship this season after this trade. Hear me out right now. They're not going to win the 2025 NBA championship, and they're not going to make it far, as they did last year after getting rid of Cat. But next season, when they open up their availability, when Julius Randle becomes a free agent and can walk, the Timberwolves are going to have options next year. Jimmy Butler is going to be an available free agent next summer. Kyrie Irving will be an available free agent next summer. Even LeBron James is going to be a free agent next summer. The truth is, the Wolves made this trade to think about their future as they build around their 23-year-old superstar, Anthony Edwards. For the New York Knicks, they've made this trade simply because they're ready to push for a playoff championship run. They're going to be serious contenders in the Eastern Conference, and I believe after this deal, they've solidified a roster that might be unbeatable in the Eastern Conference. So Easy Buckets fans, let me know what you guys think about this trade. Do you understand the truth of why the Wolves had to do it? Who do you think won this trade? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. We finally know why Paul George left the Clippers and left Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers were hiding something from us about Kawhi's injuries, and that's why Paul George left the team. I dive deep into this topic in my recent video, so check this video to learn more of the truth of Kawhi and Paul George. But other than that, take it easy, God bless, and I'll see you all next time on Easy Buckets.